Alright, let's make this quick. I'm going to talk about the banners that will be coming after Yato ends. Obviously, there's a lot of really good banners coming. If you find this video helpful, do drop us a like. Anyway, let's get straight into this. I just want to preface one thing. With these schedules around banners, stuff can always change. On CN, we actually got the Female rerun before we got the Yato banner. So stuff can change up a little bit, but it will mainly stay on this course about. First of all, the next banner we should be getting supposedly is the Female rerun. Now, with Female, she's not really my type of unit. I've built her and I've got my account, but she needs a bit of support to really do a lot. Now, obviously, I want to preface, I'm a very casual player, so I'm not going to talk about meta or how good a unit is too specifically, but from my perspective, she's a bit of a gimmicky unit, at least for me, but she is very, very cute. She is the chicken. I also really do love her design. I'm not gonna lie. But next banner we have up after this should be the Joint Operations banner. Now, with Joint Operations banners, if you're a new player or you've played for a while, generally my advice is if you only want one of the units, I would not pull on the banner because the chance of you getting the one unit out of the four is going to be very, very difficult. Now, if you want only two of the units, now that's more of a decision to make. In my opinion, if you want 3 or 4 of them, then it's a lot more of a good idea. There is some cool banners coming, but obviously with this banner, I'm probably going to pull because I want Thorns, I want Irene. But next banner we have coming up is this banner. Now, this has Horn, Sail Leech, and Stainless. Stainless is a very, very cool unit. I really love using him. He's a bit gimmicky in the way he works because he has turrets he puts down, and once you actually use him with second skill, it actually can help like Chongyue third skill, and anyone who really needs to build up their skill, he can kind of help in that sense, which does offer a bit of a different strategy and also offer a bit as a unit. But if we talk about like Horn, for example, a lot of people really do like Horn. She is a very strong unit. She is a defender, but she does work quite differently. She does big damage, but her range is also pretty crazy. And if we take a look at Sail Leech now, Sail Leech was always in a spot where most of the time I would hear people would just suggest using other flag bearers like Myrtle or Elysium. I mean, Myrtle obviously being the absolute Giga Chad. Let me know in the comments if you think she's actually much better now because of module. I couldn't really find much information on it, but for me, this is a skip. There are a lot of good banners coming. I personally wouldn't pull on this unless you really want one of these characters. Now, next up we have probably one of the more exciting units for me. We have Ines. Now, Ines is a Vanguard unit who is actually quite different compared to other units. I really do like the way she works. First of all, I think she's honestly a pretty good unit, and I've seen quite a lot of people say that too. Looks wise, I'm just gonna say this now, she looks absolutely gorgeous. I really want to pull her solely because of how she looks. She is obviously a Vanguard, so she will generate you DP, but she does offer you a bit of support. Like if you are a person who likes Vanguard Knights, I think this is probably going to be the perfect unit for you. She can offer a lot of support, she can steal attack speed, she can bind enemies. She also drops a shadow which can deal additional damage to enemies, alongside not only reducing the movement speed of enemies, but also reveal enemies who are invisible once they walk within its range. So it offers a lot of really cool support, and I feel like she's probably the one unit that if you really want someone who's unique on your account and is going to offer you something that many other operators are not going to do, I think she's honestly perfect. And I will probably be trying to pull for her, but there is one problem, and that is the next banner that is coming. And that is the 4-year anniversary ban. Now, I'm going to be honest, I absolutely love these two characters, like, regardless of how good they are. Honestly, I know some people are going to be like asking, like, who's actually in the shop for this? Because usually with these type of banners, we get a 300 hitty shop basically, and you get to pick a unit. So you can either pick these two, or there will be Skadi the Corrupting Heart, so Skadi Alter. There'll be Nil the Radiant Knight, Nil Alter, and there'll also be Spectre the Unchained or Spectre Alter. That is apparently what it's going to be, so if you want one of those units, I know some people save banners for this. We don't have Chen Alter yet, but it will probably be in the future one. First of all, we have Holo Yak or Holo Yak. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know how to say it. But if we talk about this unit as a whole, first of all, like I said before, listen, I can't help it, she looks really cool. I love her design, her ETY is really, really pretty. But if we talk about the unit, she does a lot of levitating. It might seem really simple, but to be fair, she doesn't really seem to have anything like super crazy in her kit apart from the levitating. In terms of actual damage, I've seen some people complain about damage not being like super crazy, and at the end of the day, I do think she's kind of more of a fun unit to have than someone who's going to be like really meta for you. She can actually silence enemies once they're actually in there from the looks of things, and she can also deal more damage to any aerial units with her module, which does help in some sense. I think if you're going to be in specific enemies that you might kind of struggle with, once they reach that HP threshold, she can actually levitate them, which can be helpful in some cases because they can't really do much, especially if they're silenced. So I think she's just going to be a very specific unit and not someone I'd say is must pull. She's also not the limited unit, but Muelsyse, who we are going to talk about now, is the limited unit on the banner, so you probably want to get at least one copy of her if you are planning to pull on this, which I do recommend. Now, I actually talk about the character Muelsyse, or I think that's how you say her name. I probably said that wrong like usual, but I'm just going to show this one clip. First of all, thanks to Mindmoon for this clip. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I took this anyway, but I did send them a message because I wanted to make sure I could use this. Oh my god, she looks like so much fun. Just from that clip alone, honestly, if you want to see the whole thing, I really do recommend that. I'll leave a link in the description. She looks like so much fun. Fun fact about clones, they don't take any deployment cost, and also they don't take any deployment. So she just spams them and they do decent damage. They can apparently stun, and they can also do melee and range. So I would say she's a pretty good unit. I think if you're looking for a unit that is a bit different to other units, I mean, I think you just got up your street. She also has a life 2D art, which I think looks really pretty. Alright, the next banner up, we have the Joint Operations banner once again. Now this one is a pretty good banner for players who are new to the game or are missing all 4 of these units, because first of all, Golden Glow is the one character I've been looking for throughout the whole entire game for such a long time. Please, Arknights, give me Golden Glow off banner eventually. I really want it. If we talk about these units, obviously Mudrock, absolute beast defender, very solid. Mountain, absolute beast lane holder, can really lane hold really well. Absolutely love him. And Golden Glow has amazing range and amazing skills. She does pretty good damage as well, and I would probably say she's up there with very good units. Now, there is also Saga. I mean, she has a skin, she looks cool. I am gonna be honest, I've never used her in my whole entire life. But like I said before, if you do only want one of these units, I probably don't recommend pulling on this. If you want to, debatable for you, you should probably think about it before you actually pull. And if you need 3 or more, I would probably say it's worth pulling, especially for the banners that are coming up. So, next banner we have is Executor Alter. Now, I've heard a lot of things about Executor Alter. First of all, design-wise, he looks badass. Just for design, I would pull him. Well, I've heard that people aren't really too happy with him now. That could come from a lot of reasons, and since I'm not really someone who's tried him or played with him, I'm not going to give like too much information because obviously everyone's got a different opinion. He is a Reaper guard, so he is kind of the same like La Pluma and Highmore in that sense. So he can't be healed. He kind of does his own lane holding in a sense. And his skills do actually have to be charged up, kind of similar to like Thorns or like Chongyue, where they do have to hit before they can actually activate the skill. Without his skill, he's probably not really going to do that much. And I've heard he's quite RNG, so I'm not really too sure what to think of him. Let me know in the comments what you think. In general, I'm probably going to skip him, to be honest, because I just don't think I really need him. Me personally, I will be skipping him, especially with the banners that are coming up. So, next banner after that, we have Ebenhol's banner. Now, I'm going to say this, Ebenhol's rerun, don't pull on this. Unless you are absolutely in love with this guy and you want to marry him and you want him in your bedroom, I don't recommend pulling for him. That's all I'm going to say. He's not really a great unit from what I've seen, and he's a bit gimmicky to use. For me personally, that's not my type of unit. Now, next banner we have is my girl Typhon. I love this girl. I want to pull for her very much. Problem is, I'm probably not going to pull for her just because of what's coming up. But let's talk about the character. So, Typhon's actually a very interesting unit because she isn't really like a regular sniper. First of all, she attacks heavy enemies first, which straight away makes her a bit more gimmicky to use, because if you're kind of a newer player, you don't really know what's like how to get the perfect kind of rotation with the right enemy. It's gonna be kind of difficult to use. You can't really expect her just to be placed last minute and then just kind of make her pop off. You kind of have to prepare her, kind of know what's coming. She has got actually like really nice damage on her skill 3 from what I've seen. Her skill 3, like when you get like a boss character and you get her module, she honestly does pretty good damage from the looks of things. And also her attack speed on skill 3, it's not the best. I'm gonna say that. It doesn't look like it's the best. So even though she does have big damage, she does have a bit more difficulty to use, which will always make her a bit more difficult for certain players. But talk about her skill 2 as well, she does have a bit of control of skill 2, she can stun enemies. Once she actually uses it a second time, her skill, it will actually become infinite, which can actually help in some cases. She can only hit 2 enemies and it's not like it lasts for that long, it does last for a second, but that can help at the end of the day. So honestly, pretty solid unit. Would I be pulling for this? I wouldn't really say I'm going to be pulling for this, but I really do want her. I'm like changing my mind constantly because there's a really good banner coming, so let's talk about the banners. Right, so first of all, we have a Dorothy rerun. Now, for me personally, I already have Dorothy. I got her off banner. She does look very cool, and I know some people might like the fact that she can put down mines. It's a little bit different to some operators. For me personally, I'm just going to say, for literally anyone, I think this is a massive skip because of the banners coming up next. Now, let's just talk about this banner now. We have the Eyjafjalla Alter banner and the Swire Alter banner. Now, quite a few alters in this one, to be fair. I love this banner because I love Swire's design in this. It looks so nice. I'm going to be pulling on this. Any banner with 2 characters, like for example the Muelsyse and Holo Yak banner, I'm going to pull on that. I'm also going to pull on this banner as well. It's going to have a shop as well, which should have these units. Chen Alter and Gavio the Invincible. I know a lot of people really are excited to get Chen Alter because she's a very, very strong character. I will say that. I absolutely love her. I use her in every single stage, and she does like the most damage in the game. Almost, probably. I don't even know if she does. I'm guessing she does because she's absolutely broken. But I would say it's pretty worth it to pull on this regardless. Alright, so first character we have is obviously my favorite character, Swire Alter. Not only are her actual effects really, really cool, like her skills just very cute. I love the sound of them, but she is a specialist merchant, so she will be taking your DP when she's placed. So obviously with a lot of these merchants, you want to have their module because it does reduce generally the cost of them being on the field. Now she actually is quite interesting. So she has these wine bottles. Now I'm not going to get into this too heavily because unless you play with it, you won't really get like a proper understand how this works. But basically make champagne bottles, I believe, and then they actually deal damage to the targets. Now these can also slow targets like the second skill. And one of the interesting things she can do is she can actually basically be invincible in some way because she'll actually revive if she has enough DP to use. And from my understanding, you can just keep repeating the use of this. Obviously the DP cost increases, but I think you can keep doing it. Even if not, just being able to revive like that, it's actually quite a cool mechanic. And in general, I think she's actually a pretty cool unit. And the damage she does seems to be pretty nice. Like the wine bottles seem to hit, like someone said in the comments I saw, kind of hit like a truck. So pretty cool unit. Obviously in terms of design, I'm going to be pulling for her. But that does move me on to the next character, which is obviously Eyjafjalla. Now, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't originally actually going to pull for Eyjafjalla Alter, but after seeing like kind of what she does and how good she does actually help out a lot of elemental damage. So if like an ally is taking elemental damage, she can heal it. If an ally's already took elemental damage, she can heal it. Honestly, she seems to be pretty good. From the looks of things, she seems to be really good. And honestly, with a healer, there's not really much to say apart from she looks like she's going to be good. I actually kind of need an elemental damage healer on my team at least because no one that can really pop off as much as she does. I think she's honestly going to be a really good unit and I'm going to pull for her solely because of that. But obviously Swire Alter is my wife, so you know. Alright, now for the final 2 banners that we have left. I'm gonna be honest, I'm filming this like it's super late right now. My throat's super dry. It's super warm in the UK right now, so I'm actually burning away. So I'm trying to power through this video, but we have 2 final banners. We have a joint operations banner which just have Posey, Penance, Mlanar, and also Lee. Like I kind of said before, if you only want one of the units, it's usually not worth it pulling on these. If you want 2 of them, then it's more you think if you want to pull, and if it's 3 or 4, I would say you probably should pull, but it really depends on what banners are coming next. Obviously, we don't actually have that much information for what is coming next. For me personally, I'm going to be probably pulling on this because I don't have Mlanar or Penance. Now, obviously, stuff can change because these aren't like limited characters, so I might get them along the way. There is a lot of banners before, as you've seen, so I'm not too sure if I'm going to pull on this, but the banner after this is a character I can't really share much information about, so I'm not going to talk about her in this video, but I will make a separate video talk about his character. Now, obviously, there are probably some opinions of how good she is and what she really does, but since she's only just recently came out, I probably just going to hold off for now. So, anyway, I think that pretty much covers everything in this video. If you did enjoy it and you're still watching to this point, do leave a comment down below letting me know that you have still watched the whole video. I'm actually very curious, do people watch all of these? Anyway, that is pretty much covering everything. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, do drop a like. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about gacha related, we have a great community on Discord. I really do recommend joining that. And if you could subscribe, that would mean a lot as well. We're hopefully going to be able to make it to 4,000 subscribers by the end of next year. I think that's a bit more realistic. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you next one. And most importantly, I'm going to relax, because it is so warm in my room and I'm dying. Anyway, adios.